Apologies once again, guys. Dropping streams like crazy today for the first time in a pretty long time. Feels like the good old days, but this is actually the worst possible thing that could happen for us. So we should be coming up back live on YouTube in a second. Periscope and Twitch should already be there. There's the new link. Drop that in. It seems to be YouTube that is driving this problem, so we take the video from Twitch and upload it to YouTube later, or from Periscope. Talking to Tom. Sorry, guys. Let's get this set up one last time and get back in business here. I want to delete my old tweet. And then tweet one more time. Oh, day 3 in the NBA. I guess the NBA doesn't, or YouTube doesn't really like the Hawks Pistons game.
Yeah, don't blame them.
All right, we are a half second from good.
I forgot Steph was on this slate when you were talking about best overall plays.
So did I. All right, let's dive back into it. We were talking Hawks. Apologies to everyone for the technical issues. Really haven't had them in a long time. But here we are. Must have got cocky. I deserve this somehow. Looks like the last thing they heard was we left off at Bembry.
Okay. So, yeah, so Bembry, I think, just a good value play because of his price, because in DraftKings case, he has guard and forward eligibility, so he fits into a lot of roster spots. I think you said he was, what, 3,800 on FanDuel?
Correct, 3,800. Okay, I gotta drop that Cam Reddish projection down to 25. Not that it matters. I just don't know who the hell else is gonna get those minutes. Dust off Vince Carter, I guess. At least for right now. Yeah, when I ran my crunch, I got like 80% DeAndre Bembry on my first crunch. Wasn't factoring in any ownership at all at that point. Kevin Herter is not out. Great job.
Yeah, he's on a 15-minute limit.
He's supposed to be out yesterday. Is that not the case now?
I don't think so.
Dude. Am I?
They said, I think the news yesterday was that he would come off the bench and play 15 minutes, and that Reddish would start and play 25.
Will come off the bench. Yeah, okay. Cam Reddish or Kevin Herter not out, playing 15 minutes. He's out for DFS purposes.
Way to cover that up like that's what you meant.
Yeah. I'll bet my life that the first announcement yesterday that I saw was that Kevin Herter would not play in the opener. And if that got amended like immediately afterwards, I just never saw it. But the first thing I saw was like, oh shit, no Herter. Full on Cam Reddish, let's go. Like I didn't project.
It sounded fine to me when you said it, but I think in my head it was probably just because like I had mentally crossed off Herter.
Yeah, I mean to me, like I didn't project Herter for any minutes this morning. That was a straight 0. Like that is. Oh well. Herter, he's 15. Where are those minutes gonna come from now?
Well, 5 just came from Reddish.
Yeah, true. I'm still 10 light for Herter. Trae Young, 34. Well, I guess Evan Turner is going to lose a bunch of these. Is he just going to be the straight backup point guard, I guess?
I have Turner at like 19.
Okay. Well, I'm good for now. Doesn't matter. I'm not playing Evan Turner either. Let's get back into this. John Collins, 8,300 on FanDuel, 7,300 on DraftKings. Getting ownership. He's good. Is he interesting here? Because he should be good in this spot.
Yeah, I like him here. He's inexpensive. He averaged almost 1.2 fantasy points per minute last year. Andre Drummond is competent defensively, but outside of that, it's not a front court that you're really concerned about. Markieff Morris, assuming he does play, isn't someone you're overly concerned about. Christian Wood, you're certainly not. Thon McCurs, whatever. Collins should be able to do fine here. You should get 33, 34 minutes out of him. Last season, 23.7% usage rate, 17% rebounding percentage, 10% assist percentage, contributes across the board. I think Collins is a good play. He's my favorite play from Atlanta. Slightly ahead of Young for me just because of the difference in price.
Okay. Yeah, the next guy that I'm going to mention is the one I'm really curious for your thoughts. What do we do with Alex Len? No Dedmon now.
Yeah, he's interesting because obviously he doesn't have Dedmon there, and it's unlikely that he's like splitting minutes down the middle with Bruno Fernando or with Damian Jones.
Yeah.
So I think giving him like 28 minutes is pretty reasonable, and he's always been a productive fantasy option. The thing that I think makes it tough is that you have Andre Drummond at center on this slate, who is just far and away like one of the best plays on the slate.
Yeah.
But then you still have some other, competent centers too, whether it's Capella, whether you play Kevon Looney there. So it's not like it's a guy that I think you have to have in lineups, but I do think he's a pretty decent option at 5,500 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to get to a little bit at least. And then Bembry looks like he's going to be one of my main paydown options. How many minutes do you have DeAndre Bembry projected for?
25.
Okay. I have him at 26. Even if I pull that down to 24, I don't think I'm going to be able to get away from him. He's just too cheap. I think that's really just the easiest way to say it. He's not a guy that I'm super excited for.
I have him at like 19 DraftKings points at 3,200. That basically makes him Luke Kennard from last night for me. I had Kennard at, I think, like 19 points. And it's just that it's a good point per dollar play. He certainly is capable of having a better game than I expect. But at 3,200, it's something that we talk about a lot, but like guys that are in the low 4Ks are obviously everyone talks about them as value, but the difference between like a $4,200 guy and a $3,200 guy is the biggest percentage difference in price that you're going to get amongst like $1,000. It makes a really big difference in what you can do with your lineup. So I just think that anyone that's down around 3K, I'm willing to take a chance on.
Okay, I don't disagree. Especially for someone that's going to be playing that kind of minutes. It's just such a different game here. Do you have interest in DeAndre Hunter making the debut?
I think that with him being just more expensive than Bembry, it makes it tough. Not entirely sure what to expect out of him. I'm trying to get Atlanta's preseason numbers up to see what his rates look like in the preseason. But there being basically a 25% markup on him versus Bembry. And we know Bembry last year averaged 0.85 DraftKings points per minute as well. So that makes it kind of tough. In the preseason, Hunter had a 17.7% usage percentage, 19% assist percentage. So,
yeah, he's just not supposed to be that guy, more of the D and 3 and D. So he's getting 17% ownership on FanDuel and 25% on DraftKings. I mean, I get that it's a 3-game slate, but that is not where I want to be. Do you want to be with Jabari Parker? Do you want to go to Cam Reddish for 25 minutes? Is there anything else from Atlanta that you like?
Not really.
Yeah, I think you and I are on the same page there. Just feels a little forced. Let's see. If I look at Atlanta, most I got a ton of Collins, which I'm very happy about on FanDuel. It's a very different set of circumstances. If we look at FanDuel, Collins is the most expensive power forward at 8,300. Next up is Draymond at 8K, and then you're all the way down to $4,600 JaMychal Green. And then it's JaMychal Green, Jabari, PJ Tucker, the resurrected Marquise Chris. Kudos to Marquise Chris for being essentially played out of the league and now like a key cog on the Warriors.
It's crazy what happens when someone who was drafted at 19 as like a raw prospect to the Suns actually goes to a real team.
He was probably like, oh, there's like coaching and shit.
Right. Like, granted, he did spend some time on Houston, but
yeah,
it's like his first real chance at playing on an actual good team.
It's bonkers. Absolute bonkers. I can't believe, I understand why it had to happen because of their hard cap issues, but I can't believe he made the damn roster. Shout out. Pour one out for Alfonso McKinney.
Yeah. Also, obviously, we'll get to this game later, but I didn't realize he was only 3,200 on DraftKings today. I assumed they had paid a little bit of attention to preseason.
Yeah, I guess not.
I mean, Looney's back, but still.
Right. Okay. Let's sum this up. Favorite parts of this entire Pistons Hawks game? Just like the guys that you think you'll have the most of.
Andre Drummond, and then Collins Young.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bembry is value.
Drummond, Collins, and Bembry for me on FanDuel. Wow, I got way more Jabari than I would have expected too.
At least he, like, if you're taking a shot on one of those random guys from Atlanta, I think Parker's the one that I'd be happiest taking a chance at, just because he does have the offensive skill set. Yeah. The main thing holding him back is that we can't really project him for more than, low 20s in minutes, but things happen in games. Like, we're wrong about minutes projections all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that I think Parker has like an easier path to being the random guy that goes off than like Evan Turner does.
Yeah, like if they want to just say, we're going to say defense is kind of meh, and you have Collins at the 5, Jabari at the 4, Trae Young, Kevin Herter, and insert whoever here at the 3. Like, that's a very good offensive lineup. Right. So,
yeah, there's
I'm not surprised if Parker starts to cook in that scenario.
Right. Jabari, I don't really know how to word it. Jabari's capable of playing multiple defensive positions in that he doesn't, like, coaches will try it.
Yeah.
He's not capable of defending anyone at those positions, but if he's scoring, it's really, really easy for Atlanta to just be like, okay, you're staying out there and we're going to work around that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If he's playing well, I expect him to stay on the floor, because I expect him to be better than a lot of the guys, a lot of the alternatives, at least from an offensive perspective. He's going to be garbage on defense, and there's no way around that.
Exactly. It's just a matter of, like, from a medium projection standpoint, Parker probably plays around 20, 21 minutes, but it's very easy to see how, like, it's very easy to picture how tomorrow you're looking back at Popcorn Machine and it's like, why did Jabari Parker play 27 minutes? And you look, and it's because he just scored 10 points in 3 minutes and just didn't find the game.
Yeah. He was 7 for 11 from the field.
Right.
Houston Rockets, Milwaukee Bucks, potential finals preview? One of the combinations that people wouldn't be like, how the hell did that happen? 116.75 implied total for the Rockets, 114.75 for the Bucks. James Harden, Russell Westbrook back. 11-4 for Harden on FanDuel, 9,700 on DraftKings. Okay. 10K on Russ on FanDuel, 8,900 on DK. I mean, look, these guys are going to take a bite out of each other, but what are you doing, DK?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Also, they played 4 games together in the preseason. James Harden had a 38.7% usage percentage.
Do you have Russ's in front of you?
30.9.
Okay. I have them in at 37 and 29. So close, I guess.
The rates for Harden, it was 38.7% usage percentage, 41.1% assist percentage. For Russ, it was 30.9 and then a 30.5% assist percentage.
Okay. Who do you like more?
If they're only $800 apart, Harden.
Yeah, I agree. 45% expected ownership for Harden. 34 for Russ. Those are DK numbers. They are both at 33% on FanDuel. In my dummy as of right now, I got a monstrous amount of Russ, quite a bit less Harden. Russ 10K on FanDuel, 11.4 for Harden, and you're getting 2 separate positions. Harden got a pretty big gap before you get to D'Angelo Russell, and then you get a lot of guys that you might not trust all that much. Do you expect to be heavy on either one of these guys, given the ownership?
I expect to be very heavy on $9,700 Harden.
Yeah. So your highest projected guy? Or
he's right up there with Steph.
Okay. Yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to have to bump up Steph's rates. I haven't gone in and done that yet. I have Steph behind Russ right now, and well,
I also think I need to bump up Giannis.
Okay. So do you not want Russ at 8,900?
Russ is fine at 8,900. The issue is just that I greatly prefer Harden at 9,700, and I greatly prefer Curry at 9,400.
I'm very, very curious about this fit I mean, this is. I'm very anxious to watch this game. This is perfect. Clint Capella 8,400 on FanDuel, 7,500 on DraftKings. A little bit of a tough sell for me, given Russ being there now, given Montrezl Harrell being on this slate, given Andre Drummond being as good as he is. What do you want to do with Capella?
Yeah, it's just tough because of the slate, like you said. He's fine, but I don't think there's like a ton of excess value there, whereas there is with Drummond.
Agreed. And, what does Westbrook do to Clint Capella's rebounding numbers?
Right.
It's a real thing. I mean, ask Steven Adams.
For what it's worth, in the preseason, Russ had like a 6% rebounding percentage.
I'm not really surprised that Russell Westbrook's not going balls to the wall for rebounds in the preseason.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying that it means anything. I'm just
I hear you.
What it was.
Capella for $22 on Yahoo looks pretty good. I think that's a reasonable enough price tag.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's all I've got. Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker, 33% projected ownership on FanDuel right now.
What's his salary?
4,400. Would you rather have PJ Tucker or Jabari Parker?
I mean, PJ Tucker probably plays like 14 more minutes. So
PJ Tucker or JaMychal Green?
Tucker.
Okay.
Well. Actually, God, the Clippers are so tough. You would think this is a spot where Green plays more.
I would have thought so. I feel like 33% PJ Tucker is a tad high.
Yeah. So what's the ownership difference between Tucker and Green?
PJ Tucker is 33% owned. JaMychal Green, 21%.
I think I would go with Green. I expect him to start here.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to move that rotation around a lot, I think. Which I'm not surprised. It's not like they want to find out whatever combinations they have. The Clippers are playing for June. Doc's going to figure some stuff out. I think this is really just like a two-person show, Harden and Westbrook, and much more Harden, I think, than Westbrook.
Agreed.
Wish I had something else fun to say. I'm sure this is the Eric Gordon game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add for Houston. Let's go to Giannis and the Bucks. 12-2 on FanDuel, 10-3 on DraftKings, 18-1 on FantasyDraft, and $54 on Yahoo. I mean, we know what we're getting out of Giannis. I'm not crazy about him today just because of the price tags. I feel like everybody else is priced down except for him. But if you he can go for 80.
Yeah, on the other hand, it's kind of like Towns yesterday. Like, he's the most expensive player, but $10,300 is still a joke.
Yeah.
It's probably the lowest price point you'll get on Giannis all year. It's just that I have him projected similarly to Curry, slightly ahead of Harden, but Harden is, a little bit cheaper. He's someone that I'm definitely looking to get to in tournaments. Only 31% ownership on DraftKings.
Yeah, 21 on FanDuel, which isn't terribly shocking. You've got Kawhi at 9,800 if you need to save a little bit, and then you just jump all the way down to Markieff Morris at 5K. Man, surprise, just in case anybody's curious, small forward sucks on FanDuel. I might as well get that tattooed on my face. Oh my God. I don't get the sense that I'll have a ton of him on FanDuel. 12-2 is just healthy. But if he's under-owned, I could see it. I got 5% Giannis on my first crunch. Never going to feel good going into lock.
I'll definitely get more of that on DraftKings, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Look, 12-2 is just expensive on FanDuel, particularly for a 3-game slate where then you need to make some concessions elsewhere. You're not getting a lot. Like, you've got Curry at 10-3, Russ at 10, Harden at 11-4, Giannis at 12-2, Drummond at 10-3. If you slot Giannis in right now, you're making a stand on some of the rest of your construction. Maybe that's the spot where you need to pay up and be different. Eric Bledsoe, 7K, 6,300 on DraftKings. We got Middleton. We've got the low pie at center today. What else stands out to you from the Bucks?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
Just when you start comparing to other positions, I think this is a slate where even though it's a 3-game slate, I think Stars and Scrubs is a pretty easy build because the Stars are so underpriced and there are guys in that 3K range that you can just kind of filter through. It kind of leaves you not looking for a lot of guys at the Bledsoe and Middleton price points.
Yeah, the guy I got most in my crunch was Bledsoe, which is a good thing because it's the regular season. This was a playoff contest. Might try to walk that Bledsoe stuff back, considering that dude is a ghost by the time it gets to the playoffs.
Wes Matthews is 3,500 on DraftKings with guard forward eligibility. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, 10% owned on both sites, FanDuel and DK. Also, 15% ownership going to George Hill on FanDuel. I don't think that he's going to get enough minutes to be super relevant, although who knows with Bledsoe. But yeah, Wes Matthews, he should see some open looks. You want Brook Lopez at all?
I don't think so. It's just so tough at center today.
Agree. How many threes does Robin Lopez shoot this season? That's been like a big talking point for Zach Lowe.
Yeah. Has he been working on it?
Evidently.
Yeah.
Do you think I can't remember who brought it up on the Low Post. How many minutes do you think Brook Lopez and Robin Lopez play on the court together this season?
Hopefully 0.
Oh, okay. Somebody bet like north of 100.
That just seems totally unnecessary.
I could see it against certain teams, But yeah, I agree. It also seems pretty unnecessary, but you never know. This is not a fun DFS team. Like, I don't get the sense that Milwaukee is going to be a team that I get a lot. Save for Giannis, obviously, but he doesn't count.
Right.
Like, they're all established. They're all outside of West. Like, they're all essentially the same guys as before. We're not going to see Bledsoe and Middleton have like major price fluctuations unless somebody is out. They're just going to always look very similar. So I don't get the sense we're going to talk about Milwaukee a lot, even though they're arguably the best team in the East.
They're a team where I think that I get exposure to them a lot because of Giannis and just being, where the production's coming from. They're a fast team.
Yeah.
But it's not a team where there's like super underpriced guys where it's like, oh, this is one of my highest owned guys on the slate.
Yeah. You'll have that 10 to 20% share of some, Chris Middleton
of everyone
regularly. Bledsoe, Brook Lopez to an extent, depending on the slate, but they line up a little bit different. Favorite plays in this game?
Harden and Giannis.
You're going to spend $900,000 in salary on DraftKings today at this rate.
I'm playing around with a dummy lineup right now with Harden, Curry, Drummond. It's pretty easy.
Okay. Craziness. Okay. So, before we get into this final Warriors-Clippers game, would love for you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you guys can hit the like button on this video, it would be really helpful. Those technical issues are going to make this video a little bit more problematic. So if you can get some likes on there, it'll really help us to maintain status for it. Apologies for it. Podcast people will be fine. Got a little poll question for you guys. Who will be the best value on DraftKings today, north of 5K in salary? So don't be giving me like $3,100 guys. But in the comments section, give me the guy that provides the best points per dollar. They have to be greater than 5K in salary on DraftKings. Adam, do you have a guy greater than 5K that you expect to be the best value today?
Andre Drummond.
That feels pretty safe. I can't go with that, though, Can't just steal
Steph Curry.
Well, no. You can go with that, but I can't be like, oh, I would also like Andre Drummond.
Right.
That just makes me look like a clown. I like the Curry shout a little bit. It's not going to be Derrick Rose for me. It's not going to be Reggie Jackson. If you told me it was Alex Len, I wouldn't think you were a crazy person. Because that dude just breaks slates sometimes. Give me Montrezl Harrell.
Of course.
Come on now. He's going to play 40 minutes again, right?
Yeah.
Also, pretty good spot for Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
These are not the Warriors of a few years ago. So drop that in the comment section, guys. Who will be the best point per dollar play north of 5K on DraftKings? Also, rest of the day, churning out a ton of content. Coming up immediately after this, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, NFL Strategy Show, Laffy and Sal. At noon, we'll have the early live before lock. It's not a lock show, but we've bumped this show up. A showdown preview for tonight's NFL game. Alex and Ben will be breaking that down at noon. You'll get Alex Osimo himself, his game plan show, 4 p.m. behind the paywall. Post is on the website. We'll post that link in Slack as well if you want to check out what Alex is breaking down for this 3-gamer. Deeper dive at 5 p.m. with Adam and Laffy, and 6 p.m. Eastern Time, live before lock. Fast Eddie Fear, so the crazies can be happy, along with Chris Spags. Had to calm everybody down last night. I don't need people stabbing me in my sleep because Eddie didn't do a Tuesday show. Wake up and find some like Cheeto fingers looking dude just hovering above me in my bed. Can't be having it. Can't be having it. Final game. Could have been a biggie. I really wish, this NBA season would look really crazy if Klay Thompson was healthy. Because the Warriors are still then fantastic. Okay, let's say this. The Toronto Raptors win the NBA title last year. Regardless. Klay Thompson does not blow out his knee. Is D'Angelo Russell on the Warriors?
I have no idea.
I would guess yes, just because they had to fill him in. They're they had to cash in on Durant somehow, and getting a young player like that is always interesting. Are they the favorites to win the title if Klay Thompson is healthy right now?
No.
Okay. Man, it would just be one more, they would be in the mix, and that would be that would make the West just 1 degree even more crazy.
Yep.
Because now they are not in the mix. They're a man short. I mean, they're a lot more than a man short in theory, but Klay Thompson will change that up a little bit. I can't believe they don't have McKinney. Of all the guys that they had to get rid of because of this damn hard cap, they got rid of the guy that I thought was going to be their starter.
Yeah, I agree.
Craziness.
Instead of Ben Robinson.
Yeah. They'd be better off getting Big Dog. Let's talk it. Warriors and Clips. 111.25 implied total for the Warriors, 113.25 for the Clips. The Golden State Warriors are underdogs on their home court on their opening night of the regular season. Whew. And the Clippers looked downright amazing without Paul George. We'll start on the Golden State side. 10-3 for Curry on FanDuel, 9,400 on DraftKings, 17-3 on FantasyDraft, and $42 on Yahoo. 35-ish% ownership on FanDuel and DK. How much Steph Curry do you want in this spot?
More than that.
Yep.
He played, I think it was around 300 minutes last year. Trying to pull it back up now, but going from memory, about 300 minutes last year without Durant or Cousins on the floor. 40.4% usage rate, 30.6% assist percentage. I didn't take Klay off because I need some sort of proxy for D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah,
but he averaged.
Actually, you'd probably be better off taking Klay off and leaving Durant on. Durant's going to be more of a usage hog than Klay in terms of the way that would fit on the court. I think Russell's just going to gun.
36.8% usage percentage in this case.
Either way, I mean, it's going to be Curry having the ball in his hands quite a bit.
Yeah. 352 minutes, 1.6 DraftKings points per minute.
Is he the best play on the slate and we're just is it that easy?
It's him. It's either him, Drummond, or Harden.
Yeah. I mean, we know what he's going to do. There's not really any way that he's going to get slowed down. We're His downside is just not having a good shooting day.
Right.
Because the attempts aren't going anywhere. And he can pull up from anywhere inside 50 feet. Which sounds like a really ridiculous number, but it's probably more true than false. If he's 33% owned, do you have a guess as to where you end up? 60? Yeah. Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page. He's too good. He's too good, and he is uniquely set up to dominate the ball.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. I ran once I put Klay on the floor, it knocked the sample size down to like 100 minutes. So now I have Cousins off, I have Klay off, I have Durant on. 352 minutes for Curry, 37.5% usage, 23.6% assist percentage, 1.55 DraftKings points per minute.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah, I think that having Durant on is probably the better proxy for offensively for Russell. Yeah. What do we expect from Russell? How much is he going to have? Like a 30% usage rate on this team? Does he have to?
I think so.
Yeah,
somewhere in the like 28 to 30% range.
I think he's going to look pretty good here, which really annoying to me as a noted D'Angelo Russell hater.
Right.
What do you want to do with Russell? 8,200 on FanDuel, 7,800 on DraftKings. Similar ownership to Curry.
I mean, I want to roster him. I don't know that I'm getting to, like right now, he's the third highest owned guy on DraftKings behind Drummond and Harden. I think that 36% is fine. I don't think that he's my third highest owned guy on the slate.
Okay. D'Lo ain't producing against Kawhi. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
individual defensive matchups in 2019.
Yep. Yeah. Also, again, these guys have salaries. I don't give a shit who's guarding him. If he was 4,400, we wouldn't bring up a defensive matchup. You know, there's a sweet spot. Yeah, I don't care about defensive matchup. Not in the first regular season game of the season. If this is game 6 of the Western Conference Finals, then yeah, an individual defensive matchup means a little bit more. It's a different game, more one-on-one. It's not happening here. And who knows? Maybe Kawhi is going to guard Glenn Robinson. Had to get that in there. What do you want to do with Draymond? 8K FanDuel, 7,100 DraftKings, 41% owned on FanDuel and 32% on DK.
I don't think I get there quite as much because I would just rather be jamming in John Collins.
Yeah, I prefer John Collins by like leaps and bounds. And for 8K, like John Collins is $300 more than Draymond on FanDuel. After Draymond, you're dropping all the way down to the 4K range. I don't think that I want to have 40% Draymond Green on FanDuel. I think that he's going to be better, I guess, from a fantasy perspective this year, but it's just not for me. Would you rather have 41% owned Draymond Green at 8K or 43% owned Marquise Chris at 3,800?
Chris.
Yeah. That's gross. That is super gross.
How do you have Chris and Looney's minutes broken down?
24 Looney, 20 Chris.
Okay. Right
but
now
there's not a lot of confidence in what I just said either.
Yeah, I mean right now I have 26 Looney, 22 Chris, but I don't.
Did you give Amari Spellman any minutes?
No.
Okay, so like I have 6 minutes going to Spellman. Steve Kerr never runs just 10 guys, so I have 11 guys in their rotation as of right now. He's always just playing everybody.
It's just my thing is like Chris looked legitimately good in the preseason, so it's really hard for me to think that he like just starts playing 14 minutes or something.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if he played anything less than 20, barring foul trouble. Like, I think they would plan to rotate 20 minutes of Marquise Chris. Right. I'm assuming you love him there. Do you prefer Marquise Chris or Glenn Robinson on DK? They're both 3,200. I have them separated by 1/10 of a point.
Marquise Chris.
Okay. Do you like Glenn Robinson?
not as anything more than, maybe filtered through some lineups if I'm playing 150.
Right. I think we both, well, I can't even say we both agree here. I'm not really going to be getting too much Looney for 6,400 on FanDuel. That is just sort of how FanDuel works. 5,100 Looney on DraftKings, is that in play for you?
Not really. It's just I'm not really confident in how many minutes he plays. He obviously can outperform that salary, but there are so many underpriced guys on this slate. He's not a priority for me.
Chris isn't going to be 48%. Well, that's good because we don't have him projected for 48%. That's perfect. But don't forget, this is a 3-game slate. People have to be owned. There's only one way to do this. You're out of people after a while. That's the biggest thing that's another one of those things that drive me absolutely bonkers. How is so-and-so 44% owned? It's like, it's showdown. You can't compare it to a 10-gamer. It's not how this works.
I mean, talking about individual ownership in a vacuum drives me crazy anyway, because
it's all relative.
It doesn't matter.
No, it's all relative.
Ownership of just because one player is just because you have someone at in 45% of your lineups doesn't even necessarily mean that you were super high on that guy. No. It just means that he was the best guy in his price range and or position that fit in to get you the other guys you were super high on.
Yep. I.e. Marquise Chris for 43%. Sure. You're not playing Marquise Chris regardless of legitimate thoughts. You're not getting 43% Marquise Chris because you're big Marquise Chris guy today.
Right. Yeah. I mean, DeAndre Bembry, I'm sure I'll have a ton.
Right.
It really doesn't. It's not because I love DeAndre Bembry.
No. It's a maximization problem.
I love Harden.
We talk about it a lot. It doesn't really have anything to do with basketball. It's optimization. LA Clippers 1-0 on the season. Took down the Lakers in game 1. They've got the Warriors here in Golden State. Kawhi Leonard, 9,800 on FanDuel, 9,100 on DraftKings, 16.8 on Draft, 46 on Yahoo. Do we have anything interesting to talk about here for Kawhi? I'll take what I get. He's not a priority.
I'll take what I get,
but
what I get good. Is probably going to be 1%.
Really?
I mean, I had 3% on the 2-game slate.
Yeah, I got 3% on my first go-around. The intriguing part for me is figuring out what to do at small forward on FanDuel. Because if you're kind of making a choice between Giannis and Kawhi, although based on expected ownership, Giannis at 21, Kawhi at 25, half of the lineups will just have all of the paydown options. Would you rather just sift through the garbage?
No, I think the Kawhi on FanDuel is a really good play.
Okay. I was going to say, for 9,800, given everything else that's there, I think that's a much more realistic spot to get to. DK, I could see getting away because of, I mean, you're not going to play Kawhi. I know it's a different position, but you're not going to play Kawhi over Steph Curry, and they're separated by $300.
Yeah. Kawhi also only played 32 minutes in a competitive game at home in the opener. I think it's kind of unlikely that he plays monster minutes here.
Agreed. I think it's interesting that basically every stud on DK is priced down, but I think that Kawhi is priced accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a little underpriced, but 9,100 Kawhi is not nearly as underpriced as 9,700 Harden.
Right, or $9,400 Curry sans
his whole team.
Yeah, Thompson and Durant.
And Cousins, that's the big one.
Oh yeah. I don't forget that dude was even on the Warriors.
He made a huge impact on Curry though.
He did, from a on the floor perspective.
Yeah.
Trez, 7K on FanDuel, 6,100 on DraftKings. I'm not entirely I understand that it's center and that Drummond is soaking up a lot of ownership. 7K Montrezl Harrell at 10% ownership on FanDuel is very appealing to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I want a lot of Andre Drummond. There's basically no limit to the amount of Andre Drummond that I would want. But, I mean, Montrezl Harrell is the only other, legitimately real. I don't want to pay $8,400 for Clint Capella given the rest of the salaries across the slate. I really like Montrezl Harrell here.
I'm with you.
How do you feel about him on DK for 61?
Really like him there a lot too.
Yeah.
Played, like you said, he played 38 minutes last game. I don't expect him to play 38, but I think that you can probably project him a little bit higher than some other sites are, because it's tough with him, because there's going to be games where he plays 26 to 28 minutes and Zubats plays 20 to 22. But we also saw a ton of games last year where he subs in and then just plays the entire rest of the half. That's what happened in the game against the Lakers. You could very easily see that again here. Like, I'm fine giving him 32, 33 minutes.
Yeah, I gave him 30, and I'm still going to get a bundle. Yeah. And I think 30 is probably like the floor now. Barring like foul trouble and other weird quirks. I'm just a big fan of him for that price tag. 6,900 for Lou Will, which is nice. 67 on DK, 12.6 on FantasyDraft, and $31 on Yahoo. I'll have some, but he's priced where he should be. Any Lou Will?
He's fine. I'll probably end up not getting to a ton of him.
Beverly in the 20s, Mo Harkless in the 20s, Jermichael Green in the 20s, Landry Shamet at 17. That's ownership on FanDuel right now. How are you sifting through the rest of the Clippers?
Nothing that's a priority for me. I think that 4,600 for Beverly is an okay value as like a last guy in type of thing. Same goes for Jermichael Green at 4,400. Like we said, I expect him to get more minutes this game than he did against the Lakers. Against the Lakers, Patterson played 17 and a half minutes. Green played 19.3. They played no minutes alongside each other. This is a game where I would expect it to be like 24 Green and 13 Patterson or something.
Yeah. Green shot the lights out, right? He was like 5 of 7 from 3 or something crazy.
I don't know what the actual numbers were. I know from watching the game, it seemed like he was shooting well.
Yeah.
2 for 3 in his first stretch, 1 for 2, so 3 for 5, 4 for 7.
Okay. Yeah. That's what you're looking for out of Jermichael Green. He's probably the guy that'll get the most of anything here, but 4,600 on FanDuel is not like the craziest bargain in the world. What's your favorite game to have piece? Like, where do you think you'll have the most exposure?
Atlanta, Detroit.
Least amount, Rockets, Bucks in terms of volume, but Giannis and Harden as very clear pieces.
Yeah, just in terms of like players per lineup from that game, it'll be lower.
Yeah. Favorite stuff from this entire game?
Curry, Harrell, and then Chris's value.
Yeah. I don't have anything to change there. It's a kind of a boring 3-gamer, but at least those final 2 games are very much watchable. Don't get the sense I'll be tuning into a ton of Pistons Hawks.
I assume that's like the one game I'll watch tonight.
I mean, I'll just try to avoid it.
Yeah. I just don't care about actual basketball. So if I don't have guys in the game, I'm not watching.
I don't. I guess I am interested in the Hawks. I should be nicer. I'm definitely not interested in watching the Pistons play literally ever. That is one of the least fun teams that I could picture watching. Ugh. Alrighty. 3 games up, 3 games down. It is fun to talk basketball again. Very much shout out to Yahoo Sports again. Go check out Emacs cash game article, which I am dropping into chat right now. This is yesterday's, but information for signing up in Yahoo is at the top. Use the promo code AWESEMO to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. And if you want to check out some free content, Awesemo's ownership projections are free today. Check them out. It is the piece of information that I like the most of everything that we do. Ownership is the first thing that I make sure that I get in here. So check it out. Ownership is free today. Adam, anything else? What do you got going on today?
Deeper dive with Lofty at 5 Eastern.
There we go. Cheat sheets will be out momentarily. We'll have the strategy survey up early afternoon. And we will have Laffy and Sal talking NFL top targets coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Check out our podcast feed. You can check out every show that we do that has some shelf life gets put on there. If you use iTunes or any podcast app, it'll be there. We're going to be adding Spotify and Stitcher momentarily. And we have a full slate. Alex and Ben at noon, Deeper Dive, Live Before Lock, tons of stuff going on. Check it all out. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, shout out to Yahoo Sports. And if you want to sign up at awesemo.com, use the promo code NBA Strategy for 50% off your first month of Awesemo Plus. Thank you guys. We are out of here. Best of luck today.